Hello?
Hello.
Hello? How are we today?
I'm good. How are you, kids? Shoot.
Oh, shit.
I immediately closed the window that I wanted to open.
No.
Okay, good.
Foolish.
Hello, Kimberly. Hello, Elfie. Hello, Wonkus Bonkus. Hello, DDD.
I love Wonkus Wonkus. Your name is so good. Hi, Addie Patty.
You had a bed with me.
Madical.
Why are you going to the boy bed?
Madical. Be good.
she's
Hi, Leech.
wagging her tail at you. Hey, Leech.
I give you a heart attack. I'm sorry. I'll give you a heart protect next time.
Protect.
Also, you guys have been so wholesome. I've been watching the chat while we kind of wait for the time to arrive, and you guys are being so cute and like following each other and chatting. I love it. I love
So
to
sweet.
see it. Adorable.
You can call me Star. Hello, Star.
Hi, Star.
I did try your idea, and it really helped. I think of another one. Help me think of another one. I'm really happy you asked for your help.
Oh, I'm glad it was helpful. That's awesome. Bless. I'm glad we're not just giving you crap advice.
Okay, Mado, you can sit on that chair.
Yeah, Mido.
I don't know what she's doing.
Mido. Go.
She's
Go,
just
Mido.
looking
Go,
at the chair.
Mido. Go. Good girl.
Oh, did I have the... Yeah, the stream got paused for me
Oh, no.
when I went to let Matica in and out, in and out, in and out.
Of course.
That's dogs for you. Oh my
Always
God.
want to go outside.
My glob. It's true. Oh, Fado, you coming to my couch?
Yeah. Fado's tired. He had Fado Friday last night.
Yeah, yesterday was Fado Friday.
Meaning we take him for a walk.
Yeah.
Just him.
Because we're getting back into walking the dogs because we were kind of bad about it.
Yeah.
The winter stops us.
Yes, it's too cold.
Yeah. Only the husky wants to go. And even then, she doesn't because puddles.
Puddles and salt.
Yeah, they're all princesses. Anyways, but we've been doing Fado Fridays, Mado Mondays, and Serena Sundays.
Yes.
But we've honestly been taking them out every day at
Yeah.
this point.
It's-
Except Fado. Fado, yeah, you're looking at me because I said your name. Okay, do I have to pet you? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Of course you have to pet him.
Like Fado, we take him like on a 15-minute walk, and he's like, carry me.
Please, I'm
At
tired.
the end, he's like, you walk too fast. Because he has to jog the whole way, unless we walk like really super slow, because he's so
Yeah.
tiny. And he's got like a bad leg.
Yeah. It's hard
So,
being a little guy.
He went on like a 30-minute walk-ish.
Yeah.
It was like a 30-minute walk.
Yep.
It would have been shorter if we walked at a human speed. And not a Fado speed.
Yes.
But yeah, we went on a little 30-minute walk, and he has been passed out. Usually he sleeps in my room, and in the morning Ursula opens the door and releases him so he can go get food.
Yes.
But this morning he tottered out of bed so slow, and the cat ran into my bedroom.
Yes.
Yes.
And the cats like to go under the bed and like into your box spring because
Yes.
they're freaks.
They're monsters. I mean, he would have ran down if you just left my door open.
Yeah, true.
He would have been like, food, food, food.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
cats were just like, they'll do anything for food when you get up in
Yeah.
the morning. They're like, yes, 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 it is time.
It was time.
I will harass you any way I can because that somehow makes the food go faster.
Yeah.
Even though it actually slows things down because then I
Yeah.
have to deal with their shenanigans.
Yeah, because they're weaving in and out of your legs.
Yes.
Or they'll bump your hand as you're trying to fill up their thing, and you drop all the kibble back into the bag.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's what happens.
That's what happens. Because little kitties are impatient. I need to prop up my thingy a bit more. My tablet, because I'm getting some lean from the angle I'm at.
Maybe, I think Star was...
Whoa.
I think Star was talking to someone else when they were thanking, and you just took credit.
Did I? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My bad.
Ursula helps so many people that she's willing to take credit
Shut
for
up.
everything.
She's weak about advice. So I assumed. Oh.
I know cats are monsters. Now I got an animatic idea. Very cool.
Good.
So yeah, we've been up to RPs
Of course.
as usual.
As per usual.
As per usual.
The RP,
Usual.
the RP drought is over.
Yes, it's a RP tsunami.
Yes.
No, monsoon.
Monsoon.
That's it.
There we go.
I knew it was some word.
There's a specific word for it. You started your webcomic? Congrats! That's exciting. Are you writing it? Drawing it? What stage are you at? All of you, what stages are you at in your comic? Let me know. I want to know so I can judge you. And
How are you feeling?
tell you you're doing a good job.
Do you like the show? I'm asking, but don't answer because I don't want to
I
know.
don't want to know.
Except Ursula does want to know, apparently.
Do you like the
I'm
show?
getting little dreamy eyes at me. Little Pebo sleepy eyes.
Sleepy boy.
Drawing it now. I have a pretty good idea of it now. Ursula, it's okay to take credit of my idea.
That's right. I come up with all the good ideas.
Cece is writing. Leech is procrastinating.
Leech.
That is an important step. I've been on it for a couple years now. I have a new idea every week, and I'm barely into the character design for all of them.
Whoop.
Also an important step.
Yes.
I only have a vague story for my comic, but it's only a side project right now, so it's fine. Sounds amazing.
Mhm.
As long as you guys are thinking about comics, you're at least better off than someone who doesn't think about comics. Because what's wrong with them?
Yeah. That's actually a legit question I have. I won't get an answer from anyone here in chat because you're
Yeah.
all like us. But I'm like, people who don't do like writing or art or creative stuff, I'm like, what do they think about all day if not OCs?
Yeah, what do they do?
What do they do? Do they think about sports? How
Yeah.
much can you think about sports?
I don't know. Whoa.
What do they do?
Oh, that's what's happening. Oh,
Or
right.
people who engage in like media, like movies and TV and I don't know, books and stuff, who aren't like fanfic writers, like what do they think about? Do they just watch the show and then they don't think about it again? I don't understand.
Nerdtypicals make no sense.
No idea. They
It's
don't.
true. Because I can imagine, like, if you're really into another, like, special interest, I can at least understand that.
Yeah.
But people, like, neurotypicals make no sense to me.
Yeah.
Rewriting my story. Oh my gosh. Everyone is doing so much work.
Oh,
Very
I'm
proud of
proud.
all of you.
Yeah, you're doing so good. Keep
A
up the good work.
webcomic that got about 20 pages into it before I had a huge block on where to take it. Now I don't know where to keep trying to crack it or just start something else. Yeah, well, that's why I script, because it's hard.
It is.
Yeah, that's a question you're gonna have to answer yourself.
I'd say try a few things.
Yeah.
See what works for you. Sometimes checking in with it every day helps. Sometimes just doing something else and letting it work itself out also works. So just depends what works for you.
I write literary commissions about anime.
Commentaries.
Oh. Sorry, I have no glasses. We're still dealing with that. At least
Yeah.
for the critique stream, I will finally have glasses.
Yes.
So that'll be helpful.
Yes. Monday glasses happen.
I thought you said Monday critique stream. I was like, no.
No.
Yeah. So if you want on the critique stream, you better hurry up.
Well, the deadline for the long form
has passed.
has passed.
Yeah.
That was Friday. So
Yeah, but if you want like small form,
if you want a comic page or two or some designs critiqued, you better sign up and submit right now because they're due Friday.
submit to us.
Submit.
I'm rewriting my main character because I decided I liked their gender bent design more. It's fair.
Bless.
I've been working on this chapter for the last 3 months. Love ADHD so much. Same.
Yeah. I don't know how to do that. To do the critiques. You can sign up for our Patreon. Link
Yeah,
down
it's
below.
a Patreon thing.
And it should explain it all there.
Yep.
I don't script my comic. I keep a skeleton of my story in my head. I know it's bad. How dare you? How dare you store it all in your head?
Yeah, that's bad.
Monster.
Monster. Yeah, exactly. I don't really care. Deep down, like, part of it is, you know, even if you're mad at me about the script thing, it's still just gonna make you want to prove me wrong by finishing a comic that doesn't have a script.
Exactly.
And either way, I win because I made you make a comic.
Goal achieved. That's true. Even if you make a comic out of spite, we're still happy.
I'm still proud. Prove me wrong, okay?
Yeah.
You won't. I'll still be like, but you know.
We've been you.
Yeah, you can still lord over me though.
Yeah, true.
Lord of the Rings.
God, remember when you played Lord of the Rings music and I was like, I don't know what it is.
No.
So I don't understand music at all. I can hear music that I know and understand and listen to a million times and not know what song it is.
Yeah.
I have like no sense of rhythm or music or anything. And Bones recently was playing songs for me and I didn't know what they were. It took so long for me to figure it out.
Yeah, she's not great at that.
It's the worst when he asks me to sing like a little jingle that like everyone knows, or like a little song.
Or I'm like, what's this song? And he goes, bop, 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 bop. And she's like, what?
Eh. I just can't figure
I'll
it
go
out.
like, it goes like, do do do. And she's like, do do do. Like, legitimately, she'll be like, do do do. And I'm like, no.
I don't hear the difference in those.
It's do do do. And not do do do.
It's the same.
It's not the same. Because it's do 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 do.
I don't know what that song is.
It's not do 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 do. Those are completely different.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
I don't hear a difference. One's just slower. It's the same song slowed down.
It's not. Oh my god.
Ugh. And I wanted to sing this year. It's never gonna happen.
95% of Bones is missing. Yeah, that's me without my glasses. I know that's not what you said. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna talk about RPs because that's what we're doing.
Okay.
We haven't done this in a while.
Go
So much
for
has
it.
passed. Right. So if you guys are not caught up, this is a story about fairies because it's RRP and we get to do what we want. We can use all the problematic tropes and you can't stop us. And yes, we can curse everybody. I don't care about plot development and if it gets oversaturated with curses because I find it fun. And yeah,
right.
we have done like 4 different fairy RPs. And yes, we do add witches to literally everything we write. But what's the point of RPing or even writing for that matter if you're not indulging yourself in the most fun things possible? Okay?
Correct.
Yes. So, our RP is about a lot of different things. You need to go? Okay, I'll see you, Elfie. One of those things is I guess the main plot, that the Prince Alexei had his face stolen by an imp. The imp now is living as the prince, and as long as no one realizes he is not the prince, he gets to keep the prince's face and live his life, right? And he fell in love with Baroness Eleanor, who is cursed, and she used to be in love with Alexei, but because of the curse, Prince Alexei was like, "You're gross. Get out of my castle," right?
He's problematic.
But then when Nibirius,
The
the imp, yes, I was gonna clarify,
Sorry.
just because it gets confusing if we don't separate Alexei and Nibirius really quick.
Yeah.
Nibirius is an imp pretending to be Alexei. Okay, we're good. But Nibirius then falls in love with Eleanor because she looks kind of like a horse. And then Eleanor turns into a horse because she has a curse on her. It's a whole thing. A bunch of gremlins show up at her house while she's a horse, and they bite her, and she gets sick, and she dies. Kind of. No, she doesn't die.
No, she
No.
gets sick. Though.
She gets sick, and eventually she dies, right? Yeah, the horse died, right?
She died?
Didn't she?
I thought she just turned into water.
Oh, yeah, she just turned into water.
I didn't know she died.
Yeah, she totally didn't die.
Oh no.
and she vanishes, and Nibirius is like, I gotta go save her, because he recognized that magical bridle that got put on her by the gremlins
In Gremlins.
it had a mark of the Fairy King on it. So he goes on an adventure, and there is a girl named Aubrey who is a stable maid who loves horses, and Nibirius puts a little curse on her because he thinks it's funny, and she starts being able to hear horses, and then she starts wanting to eat horse food, and it's very funny to Nibirius. They go on like one quest together. I'm not gonna get into it because I've already gone into it, but eventually they start on a big quest together alongside Liam, who is also a servant in the stables. And we've kind of retconned this because originally Liam did not go, but then it got really boring
Yeah.
because we didn't have Aubrey like trying to like hide her curse and have anyone else to bounce off of other than the prince who was against her. So I guess the imp. So that's from my story spine. Okay. Right. Okay. So that's where we are. I hope that catches you all up. I know it's confusing. This is a whole thing. It's hard to writing. Side note: writing out a synopsis of events is really freaking hard to do. Let alone do it on the spot. And I always have to do these synopses because comics get so long and they take so long to come out, and people forget things. So between each volume, I do a synopsis, and it is the hardest stuff to distill down, like what's important.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like writing a previously on RP
Right. It's like, what is the information they need to know?
in order to get the most out of what comes next.
Yeah.
And
it's
what-
difficult.
What's gonna be too much to weigh down on everyone.
Yes. People who are good at doing that are powerful.
They're so powerful. Right, so they start on a quest to go find what happened to Eleanor. And Nibirius is he likes Aubrey because she's kind of like weird and likes horses.
Yeah.
I think.
He loves her.
Yeah, he likes her, and so he brings her, and he puts a bunch of saddlebags on her full of all the stuff, and then he brings a horse whose name is Titan.
We love Titan so much. He's the best horse.
Titan is sweet, and then he brings Liam as well, and I forget why he brings Liam.
I think it was just to take care of the horse, because.
Oh yeah, to
weighed
lead the
down.
horse and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they go out and they start their little quest, and Liam feels so bad for Aubrey because she's carrying all this heavy stuff, and she's like, that's such an OP name for a horse. Wow. I mean, he's owned by the royals.
Yeah.
He's a stately horse.
Exactly.
But yeah, Titan is who the prince rides upon.
Yes.
And Liam has a bit of a crush on Aubrey.
A little bit.
A little bit of a crush. He's always had a crush on her. And basically through our peeing, we have very quickly determined that Aubrey is autistic.
Yes. We love.
Our being her, it became very clear. Like, all she wants to do is talk to horses, and she hates talking to people. She doesn't get them like she gets horses, and she frequently just ignores Liam.
I love it. He's just like third wheeling with her, hanging out with her horse friend.
Yeah, well, like when they're walking, like she's talking to the horse more. Well, not at this point. We'll get to that. Like
Yeah.
at this point, she's lagging behind because she has all of the luggage to carry, and Liam's like, I'm way stronger. Like, I should like help carry things. And the prince is like, no, that's not your job. And he grows more and more frustrated with the prince, and he keeps like looking back at Aubrey and feeling bad for her.
Yes.
And eventually they stop, and Aubrey is exhausted, and she wants to go eat grass because she eats horse food.
Yes.
Yeah, she eats horse food, and she doesn't want Liam or the prince to know about this, because she doesn't know that the prince is a fairy who cursed her. She thinks that touching the bridle of the magical bridle that was put on Eleanor, she thinks that because she tried to remove it, like that's what cursed her. Oh, she also grew a tail. She
Oh, right. Before they left.
that was before they left, but that can hide in her skirts. And I have a donkey in my story named, I cannot pronounce that. I can't even see it.
Tira Buzon?
They aren't that relevant. Well, funnily enough,
We love-
she has a donkey tail, but she hasn't really thought much about it. She's gotten a bit used to it. Doesn't, conceal. If you ignore something, it goes away, right?
Yeah.
So they stop, and Liam's like, you should rest. And he makes her food, and he's like, here, you can have he gives her all extra portions of meat because he feels bad and she needs her strength, and she eats it, and she's like, ugh.
Gross.
It's so gross. And he's like, what's wrong? And she's like, I'm a vegetarian. And he feels so bad and gives her extra vegetables, and she's still hungry. And he's like, you know what? You should take the first rest, Aubrey, because you are so tired from carrying all those bags, and um and you know, I'm still chipper. I'll stay awake. And she grumbles about it and goes to sleep. Um Oh, also the prince gives her an apple to give to Titan, thinking that she'll also snack on it, but she doesn't because she loves Titan and wouldn't steal his treat.
No.
She's
Never do that to Titan. He's too precious.
exactly. She loves her horses.
Exactly.
Mm,
Horse girl till the end.
exactly. So she goes to sleep, and she's woken up by Liam because she's chewing the grass that she's laying on in her sleep, and she sadly spits it out. It's like, oh, I'm so hungry, I guess. Oh,
Play it cool.
and he's like, you can go back to sleep. It's okay. Like, I can keep watch even longer. And like, she snaps. And she's like, you've been staring at me all day, nonstop, never giving me a moment's break. Because even when she went to feed Titan and go and bring Titan into a field, she couldn't sit and graze with Titan because Liam kept staring at her. And she's like, so when she's getting mad at him, she's like, how dare you stare at me all the time? Like, I'm a lady. I need my privacy. So, and I haven't had a minute of it. So you go to sleep, turn away, and don't look at me. And then she goes with Titan and she eats her grass.
I wish I could do that. Not eat grass, but just tell people, go away. Stop looking at me.
She reached a breaking point because she's quite meek, but she is so tired
Yeah.
and so hungry, and she just wants to graze throughout the day casually, but she can't because people are looking at her. And the prince would make fun of her, and maybe she'd never get to go back home if she was cursed. She doesn't know.
No.
She knows, like,
Spooky.
cursed people aren't treated well. So they continue on their journey for a while, until until they start walking and everything's getting snowy around them, and Liam and Aubrey are like, I don't know about this, and the prince is like, it's fine, it's not even cold. And then as that happens, it becomes suddenly very cold, and a blizzard happens, and they are all separated.
It's the middle of summer, by the
Yeah,
way.
it is also the middle of summer, so
so
everyone's in their summer clothes.
Yeah.
So
Oops.
so they're all separated, and Aubrey starts walking along the snow and shivering in her little dress, and she sees a little manor, and I think she approaches the manor first.
Yeah. She goes.
Did she knock out the manor?
Yeah, I think she goes looking for a door to like go inside,
Oh yeah.
and then the lady finds her.
Okay, yeah, so she's looking for a way inside. She can see it's all warm in there, and she's like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die of cold. Like, I should, like, she doesn't want to bother a fairy because that's terrifying, right?
Yeah.
But like, what else is she gonna do? And so a fairy comes out. I don't know what Nadia looks like.
She's very tall. She's dressed all in white and silver. She's kind of frosty around the edges.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, so a lady fairy shows up, and she sees that Aubrey is freezing, and is like, "Oh, you poor thing, you need things to keep you warm, right?" And so she gets her a fur and puts it on her,
Yes.
and Aubrey looks over and sees Titan and Liam, and Titan is being roped up to and attached to a sled. And it's a very large sleigh, and a Titan definitely can't pull it all by himself. And he's very scared. And Liam is being held back by little ice servants. And Aubrey runs over to help Titan, of course.
Of course, not Liam.
She runs to Titan and like calms him down, and she's like, it's okay, I'm here. And she's like, he's freezing and scared. And the ice lady is like, oh no, and gets him a blanket.
Yes.
And she's like, he can't pull this sleigh all by himself, like that's too much for him. And she's like, well, I need to get to a ball soon, and I don't have any horses or anything to pull my sleigh. And she's like, well, he can't do it all by himself. And Aubrey looks around and is like, where's the prince? And she's like, oh, the prince? I had no use for a prince, so I just let a troll take him. And Aubrey's like, oh god, if I don't come back with the prince, I'm gonna be executed. And so she's like, me and Liam and Titan can help bring you to your ball, because if we all pull together, we should be able to do it. However, in return, you need to get the prince back from the troll for us. And she's like, okay, we have a deal. And they shake on it. And the little ice servants let Liam go, and Liam's like, we have to run away. And she's like, where would we run away to, Liam? Like, we all got lost in the blizzard, and she says she's gonna help us get the prince back. And Liam's like, no, it's not possible. It's dumb. And so the little ice servants take all the bags off of Aubrey and put them into the sleigh, and they get strapped up to pull the sleigh with Titan. And so that is what they do. And Liam and Aubrey get to talk for the first time, really. However, Aubrey doesn't really talk to him. She's they're all tied up on the sleigh, pulling it together. It's very cold. The ice lady's making like a trail so that they can pull the sleigh on the ice, right?
Yeah.
And snow, because it can't really go on the dirt.
Yeah.
And it's super freezing cold. And Aubrey keeps checking in with Titan and is like, are you okay? You're not cold, are you? You can pull it. And he's like, yeah, I'm okay. It was really scary without you. She's like, I'd never leave you. I love you, Titan.
Her family is just a bunch of horses.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly. She loves Titan. He's his best friend.
Best friend.
I don't even know if Titan's her best friend. She
know.
just likes the horses.
She does.
Horses in the world, and also a form of Spirit movie fan. I am a Spirit movie fan too. Right. So they pull the sleigh. They take a break for a bit to eat some snacks. Aubrey eats some grain that Liam gets her because he saw that she ate grain that one time. So, she's weird. Okay, it's cool. Let's eat grain together, and they sit and they talk. And he's like, "Wow, you're really good with horses." And she's like, "Uh-huh."
Zero interest in talking to him.
Yeah, and she keeps talking to like Titan a lot and checking in with him. And Liam keeps talking to her, and he's like, they do start to get talking. And she talks all about how she was little and she would hang out in the meadow and watch the wild horses, and eventually they would come up to her and she'd talk to them, and that's how she got really good with horses. And that her parents eventually made her go to the stables to work because she had to get a job and she would at least like horses, so go work with horses.
Yeah.
And she's enjoyed it ever since. Though she is kind of sad because all she ever wanted to do was get turned into a horse by the horse lord and live with the wild horses. And she just thinks that would be pretty neat.
What a dream to have.
Man, I get you, Aubrey.
Wouldn't we all just want to be a horse?
But she was not pretty enough. And Liam's like, I think you're pretty enough to be a horse. And she looks at him like, what? And he's like, oh God, I just told her she looks like a horse. And she's like, I'm not pretty enough to be a horse.
I love that.
And he keeps trying to like flirt with her, and she's just like, huh?
What?
Ew. She's just weirded out that he thinks she was cute, and she's like, what? I don't understand. I like horses, and I'm sorry, I got distracted because where is Madoka?
I don't know. Manako? Goopy?
She vanished.
Shmoo?
She vanished.
Manako? Manako?
Madoka, get your ass back here.
She gone.
The-
I don't know where she
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh. Were you licking your bum at the front step?
Madoka, don't be gross.
We got your bum fixed. Why have you been licking it so much? Being a weirdo. Being
Gosh.
obsessive.
Dogs, am I right?
She moved my blanket on me. Right, so they do that, and then they continue pulling the sleigh further, until they finally reach another manor, that is not snowy. And they are exhausted, and Aubrey is extra exhausted because she's been lifting bags, and then she was pulling extra hard because she didn't want Titan to have to pick up the slack for her, and she wanted to get there as fast as possible
Hi, Charlie.
so that the horse so that they could get the prince back quickly, and so that the fairy wouldn't get mad at them for being late to the party and all those things. She's very concerned. She wants to do it right, you know? You don't want to get fairies mad at you.
Yeah.
That's what her parents have taught her. That's what the folk tales tell you. Don't make fairies mad at you. And be careful about being indebted to them and stuff, you know?
You know how it goes.
So they reach the party, and she's like, where, what now? Where are we gonna find, when and where are we gonna find the prince? And the fairy lady's like, oh, we'll go look for him inside. I'm terrible at recognizing human faces, so there you go. Let's go. And she waves goodbye to Titan and Liam. And they're very tired and cold, and they get to relax outside for a bit. And the ice lady and Aubrey go inside, and there's this huge party going on. There's fairies everywhere of all varieties. It's just a bop. And a wolf fairy? Yeah, a wolf fairy comes up, and he's dressed in a
He's wearing like kind of old-fashioned clothes, but he's got like a new lady's dressing gown over top.
Yeah, he's wearing a lady's dressing gown on top of his clothes. And he's like, Lady Nadia, like, man, I'm so glad you could make it. And you brought a snack. And Aubrey hides behind the lady, and she's like, no, she helped me get here. She helped pull my sleigh. She's very sweet.
Yes.
And she's like, wow, I didn't know you owned a manor. And he's like, yeah, I chased out a bunch of gremlins. And I guess there used to be humans here, but it's mine now. Yeah. And Aubrey's like, where will we find the prince exactly? And she's like, and the lady is like, well, we'd have to find a troll. They look like this. And Aubrey looks around and she sees a troll. And she's like, is that over there, is that a troll? And then she hee-haws out the word and startles herself. And Ferdinand and the lady start laughing, and she starts to cry in embarrassment.
Ew.
And because the curse hadn't progressed any up to this point. And they look at her and they're like, oh, wow, there is a curse on her. Neat.
Neat.
And Aubrey was like, well, it hadn't done anything, so I thought it was over. And they're like, oh, no, it's definitely not over. And she starts crying like, I don't want to become a donkey. And they're like, and the lady's like, I'm sure it's fine. Or something like that. And she's like, no, it's not. Like, I'll never get to go home, blah blah blah. I'm sad. I don't want the prince to find out. I can't go to the prince if I act like a donkey. I'll never get to go home. And she's like, well, I'm sure we can hide it from the prince. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I got your back, girl. Don't worry.
Don't you worry.
It's silly, but I'm there for you. Oh, but I find donkeys so cute.
Donkeys are the cutest.
Donkeys are cute. She just doesn't want to be a donkey.
I mean, I like donkeys. I don't want to be one.
She wants to be a horse. Okay.
Yeah, there's difference.
Different. So she heads over to the troll, and the troll has Nibirius in a cage.
Yes.
That is skinny, so he can't lay down. And he looks very tired, and he keeps almost falling asleep, and the troll shakes it. And Aubrey's like, oh no.
Oh.
Oh no. And she speaks softly, as not to hee-haw at all. And she's like, oh no, what do we do to get you out of there? And the prince is like, he wants to eat me. He thinks it will turn him into a prince. And she's like, well, we'll trade for something. He's like, what? A king? A queen? What do we have to trade? And she looks to the ice lady, and she's like, we had a deal that you'd get the prince back for us, right? And she's like, yes, of course. And she thinks, and she's like, I know. I will trade you my manor and my servants for the prince. It'll be like you're a prince. Troll. And the troll's like, yeah, that's amazing. And he takes all her servants and leaves with them and throws the prince out. And she's sad, Lady Nadia, because, it's her manor.
Yeah.
Cry. Well, not cry, sad. And Aubrey goes to the prince, who has been thrown to the floor, and she's like, are you okay?
Oh, Jesus.
Whoa. Terrifying.
Whoa.
startled.
Oh, I don't know what happened there. The thingy closed. What is it called? Procreate.
Procreate crashed.
Yeah. Jeez Louise. Anyways.
Yeah.
Honestly, I want more on that troll. The most important character. The troll.
I mean, the troll will probably come back because they're planning to regain their manor somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to spoil or anything.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, and she checks to make sure that the prince is okay. And she thanks Nadia so much for keeping her word, and just let me like casually skim it. That'll help me remember things.
Figure out what's going on.
Yeah, because it was
Yeah.
last night that this all happened.
Thank God Procreate autosaves. Exactly. Saves my life every time. Be nice to the troll. He's trans. Is this your headcanon?
Trolls are lovely. Ursula showed me a Homestuck troll. It was great of her.
It was funny.
She's like,
Well, because
Aubrey was like, "What's a troll?"
I was like, they look like that. They don't, not in this story. But it was a funny meme, you know? You know me? A memer.
Right.
Hey, Supa. Welcome.
I just gotta remember what happens. Don't worry, I got this. I'm powerful.
Alright, alright.
Yeah, and she's like, I've never dealt with fairies before. I thought, like... Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, So she loses her manor, and she's really thankful for the fairy. And she's like... She's just very happy that she didn't go back on her word. And Nadia's like, well, now I have to find a way to get my manor back. And Aubrey's like, if it was like easier to pull your sleigh further, like we could, if it was easier for us to pull the sleigh, then we would totally like take you with us, right? Because like the prince probably would like to ride along in a sleigh, because he looks very tired. So yeah, if that were the case, but it's just so cold and we didn't get to rest a lot. And she's like, and Nadia's like, oh no, I didn't know that you guys were so cold and sore. And she's like, yeah, I was super cold and sore, but I didn't want to like increase my debt to you at all by asking. And she's like, oh, that would have been ghastly of me not to like tell you and make a deal. And she's like, okay, well, I'll remember that for the future. And Nadia's like, well, no, like fairies totally would raise your debt without telling you, but I wouldn't do that. And Aubrey's like, yeah, I just meant you specifically, because you've been very kind to us.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Nab is like sussy on this fairy.
Yeah, he's like, I don't trust her.
I don't trust her. It's trouble.
Never trust a fairy. I would know, as I am one. I can't believe Trixie stole Amanda's ominous background. You're right. She's a thief.
So Nadia's like, okay, yeah, maybe when I'm on a trip with you, like I'll figure out something to get rid of this troll. Like that sounds great. Let's do that. You can sleep first, and then we'll have a great time together. It'll be wonderful.
Best pals.
Pals. Gal pals. So, yeah, she also promises that she'll make sure that Titan can withstand the cold with some magic, and that all of that will go well. And Aubrey's like a rest tonight sounds great, but like I've been like going nonstop, and like it'd probably be fine for Titan and Liam. And then she goes all close to Nadia and she whispers that, like, you know, like, I eat horse food and I haven't been able to eat in front of Liam and the prince, so I'm starving. And she's like, oh no, of course I'll help you. You wait here, Prince, and we'll have the other servant fetch you. I have private business with Aubrey. And he's like, private business? And she's like, lady things.
That's an excuse to get you out anything, and you're like, it's lady things.
Yeah, it's lady stuff.
And everyone will go, oh, okay.
So they head out together, and Nadia's like, I'm sure like we can find like a cure for your curse. It'll be good. And she's like, I sure hope so, because like if I like let out another bray or hee-haw, like that'd be so embarrassing. But I've figured out how to not do that, because I've been talking quietly and it hasn't happened. So we're good. I'm figuring it out. And Nadia's like, oh, that's so clever of you. And so they head out, and she goes to the sleigh where Liam and Titan are, and she goes to give them furs and make sure they're all warm. And Aubrey I can't remember.
Did you skim over?
Yeah, I was skimming.
My sister's casually singing Hamilton and Les Mis. Bless. We love some show tunes. Oh, I hope people are enjoying this, 'cause it's always fun. I hope we're being like a little podcast for all of you.
Hopefully. Yeah, okay. So she checks in on Titan, and he's like, I'm good. I'm just tired, you know. He's like, and she's like, well, we're gonna go get you some good food. And she's like, and Titan's like, more oats? And she's like, no, we're gonna, even better than that. And Nadia's like, yeah, Liam, go get the prince for us. So Nadia takes Aubrey and Titan to behind the manor, and there's a whole bunch of lovely grass there, and Titan starts eating, and Aubrey's like, oh my god, finally. And she gets down on the ground and starts eating the grass.
Poor baby. I'm enjoying this a lot. Oh, yay! Good. I'm glad.
Right. And she's just so happy. And Nadia's like, are you sure you don't want to be a donkey? Because you really seem to be happy about all that grass. And she's like, well, I only like the grass because I got turned into a donkey. And she's like, she's on all fours and grazing and whatever. And Nadia can see like her little tail swaying under her skirt and like ruffling it. And she's like, oh, did it make you have a tail too? And Aubrey turns quickly and covers a little bum. And Nadia's like, oh no, I'm so sorry. I don't want to embarrass you. And yeah, she's like, yeah, it made me grow a tail. That was forever ago. I thought the curse was over because like nothing's happened since then. So I don't even know. And like, man, what the heck? And Nadia asks if Titan was a human once too, that got turned into a horse, and she's like, no, he's just a horse. And she's like, oh, you're just really close to him, so I wondered. And she's like, oh no, I just love all the horses. They're like a family to me, you know.
Yeah.
I love horses. And she's like, oh, that's so lovely. Maybe I'll get horses. Like that sounds fun. And she's like, well, maybe you could get horses, but it's pretty cold at your manor and they wouldn't be able to eat grass. So that would be a problem. And she's like, I guess that would be a problem because like snow is kind of my thing. I can't just stop having snow. And Aubrey's like, oh, you could make like a greenhouse type thing, like with ice. And then you could grow grass all year round and keep horses in there. Like maybe you could have like a few horses. Like, I don't know how many you want. And she's like, I don't know, like 2 or 3, like just enough to pull my sleigh. And Aubrey just thinks that's such a delightful idea.
Just gals becoming friends.
It's just, that sounds so cool. She's glad that someone likes horses too. And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna find some horses for myself. So back in the manor, Liam goes and he finds the prince. And he is so mad at him because of how mean he's been to Aubrey, right?
Yes.
And he's like, you're so lucky that Aubrey came to save you. You should be so thankful. She was so exhausted because you made her carry all those bags. She's like, we barely made it here. And, like, because she had to pull the sleigh with us. And Nibirius laughs at that because he's like, I'm turning her into a donkey and she's pulling a sleigh. How funny. And of course, Liam is just like flabbergasted that he would laugh at that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you laughing at her? You're such a bully. Like you think just because she likes horses, you can treat her like a horse? Do you think that's funny? You think that's funny, Nab? So yeah. The lights flicker.
Oh.
And water starts pooling at their feet.
Oh no.
And Naba's like, oh god, we need to leave right now. And Liam is on a tear. He doesn't care. He's not noticed this yet. And he's like, yeah, like, don't change the subject. Why are you being so mean to Aubrey? She's done nothing but work for you. You have to like treat her with some respect. And Naba's like, we really, really gotta leave. And as he starts pushing him away, all the doors slam shut and the lights flicker and it becomes like pitch black.
Yes.
Just like the Mountain King's palace. And all the fairies go quiet because they all know what's up. Liam does not. He's like, what's going on? And Naba's like, I have no idea.
I'm also a human.
And then a sickly light begins to glow around Ferdinand, and there's like mists pooling and going all around him. And he hears the voice of a lady who's like, you think this manor belongs to you? And Ferdinand's like, no, I thought it was abandoned, his little ears are going back and he's like whimpers.
Oh, yeah,
he's like, oh god, don't kill me. Meanwhile, Nab recognizes this voice because it's Eleanor's voice. He's pretty sure.
Gasp.
And she's like, oh, like, you saw all the you chased out all the gremlins here. Like, you didn't think maybe there was a reason like that the Mountain King's henchmen were here. Like, you didn't think about that. And like a light appears and she starts descending the steps, and she's got like a bit of a limp, and she's
not a horse anymore.
Yeah, she's not a horse anymore. That is important. I forgot about that. Well, I assume because she's talking, but there's talking animals here, so
Yeah. So.
yeah, Titan's always talking. No, she's not a horse, and she looks nothing like when Nab knew her, because she's got a very human face, and it's very conventionally attractive. Not what he liked
How
initially.
dare.
But, he still likes her at this point, so it doesn't matter if she's ugly. It's the reverse of Alexei.
I know, because Alexei was like all disgusted because she got cursed, and Nab was like, hubba hubba.
But he's
Pretty
fine with
lady.
Yeah, he's fine with her, no
But-
matter what she looks like.
Yeah, he just likes her.
Yeah. Yeah, and her hair is all wet, and she comes down the steps, and
She
Nab's
just
like,
had a shower.
yeah,
Clearly.
yeah. Clearly. She was having a shower, and then she heard the party downstairs. And like the Ferdinand's like begging to not be like murdered or something, and she's like, oh, quit whimpering, blah blah blah, and Nab grabs her.
Yes.
Grabs her hand because she's like descended the steps and come close, and he's like, Eleanor, is that you? Do you recognize me? And wait, well, I guess he doesn't say, do you recognize me, because he grabs her hand. He's like, Eleanor, is that you? And she's like, that is Baroness to you. And all the light is now between the two of them, and it feels like they're alone together, but they're not. And like her hands are cold, and she looks like a living corpse, and there's like mist in her eyes, like clouding her eyes, like and like there's swamp plants growing in her hair, and she has sharp teeth, and
You know that thing where the way I picture it is like, you know how in anime when they're like all possessed or like soulless or whatever, it's like just the blank eyes. That's what I imagine.
it's more like just mist, like
Yeah.
like white mist dancing in the eyes.
Oop.
I get you though. Also an anime trope, so it's fine.
True.
Cloudy eyes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but magical. Yeah, and she's got like a little leather necklace on that's kind of similar to the bridle, that the magical bridle has like a pendant. That means she's like owned by the Mountain King.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's like, that's Baroness to you, human. And he's like, you don't remember me? Like thinking, oh no, it's clearly the spell. And she grabs onto his face and inspects him, and he can feel like his mask is getting pulled off a little bit. So he pushes back, and he's like, no, my mistake. I don't know you at all. It's nothing. And she's like, no, I know you. And he's like, you do? Yeah, it's me, Alexei, your fiance, remember?
Remember?
And she's like, I have no fiance. Nobody loves me.
Oh.
But you're the one who did this to me.
Whoa.
And he's like, what? No, I proposed to you. I got you like roses and everything. And she's like, if that's true, then why are my fingers bare? Where's the ring, Alexei? Why am I dead?
Oop.
And she's like, all I remember from you is pain. And she's like, you're not dead. The king stole you and turned you into a horse, but we're gonna fix it.
It's fine.
It's fine. And she's like, whatever. Like, the Mountain King wants you. Or I would, I just keep you. Like, like whatever. Like I'd have other plans for you, okay? But the Mountain King wants you, and you need to bring Albin
Album?
Albin
Bring
to
my favorite album.
bring some albums to the palace. No, you have to bring Albin to the king because he knows that you woke him up, and Alexi Nibirius is like, what does that mean?
Who?
I don't know who Albin is. What's an album?
High space.
And she's like whatever. And she slides like slides a ring onto like his pinky finger, and it's the ring that he gave her. And she's like, what? And it's now stuck on his finger, for whatever reason.
Cannot be a bad reason. It's gotta be good.
He can feel magic coming from it, but it's probably fine. It's fine. And she's like, I was told that you look disfigured like I used to. But unfortunately, that's not the case. I would have loved to see that. And so all the lights go out. And when they come back on, she's gone. And all of the fairies have, they either have like shackles on them or chains, or they have jewelry, all sorts of things, bridles, they're all sorts of different fairies of different species-esque origin,
Yeah.
Ferdinand has a little collar on him, and even Liam feels something on his wrist.
Uh-oh.
And all the fairies panic and start running away, and gremlins start appearing, and they're like, oh no, you're not leaving. You're gonna help clean up here.
It's like when the parents come home after like a
Yeah.
high school party and they're like,
They're like-
you're all gonna stay and clean up your mess.
They're like, scatter.
Yes.
Yeah, so they try to, but they don't, and the gremlins lead them off to do their new jobs at the manor.
Yep.
Meanwhile, all the fairies that were outside, like, nothing happened to them. Liam has, like, a watch on him now,
Yes.
like a little wristwatch, and it has, it has, like, its clock face, but, like, the hands are just kind of erratic. And there's, like, the Mountain King's symbol on it. And he's like, I can't get this off. What is this?
Heh.
And gremlins start coming over and looking at Liam, and Nibirius is like, oh no, if he takes Liam, then I'm gonna have to pull the sleigh. So he's like, come on, Liam.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he's with me. Like, go away. And they just laugh. They're laughing at the stupid prince. Dumbo. Yeah, so they head back outside. Oh yeah, and Aubrey has fallen asleep. Ate a bunch of grass and then is taking a nap. And Titan is like, oh no, like I sense something bad going on. And she's like, huh? And wakes up. And Nadia's like, oh no, something must have happened in the castle. In the manor, sorry.
Yeah.
I get all those words confused.
It's fair. There's a lot of different similar locations.
Yeah, so they head back over towards Liam and Nab. They find them, and they find that they're okay, and Aubrey is happy to see that they escaped without trouble, and she is so excited, and she's trying really hard not to do a hee-haw of excitement. And then she kind of does, and she holds it back in and squeaks, and Liam is like, what? And he's like, are you okay? And he's like, did like the Baroness do anything to you? And she's like, I don't know what's going on. I was just napping. I don't think anything happened. And like Liam is explaining the situation. yeah, Liam's like, oh god, blah blah blah. Crazy things have happened. You wouldn't believe it, Aubrey. And the prince is like, okay, we need to get going now. It is, we have to go to the mountain. We have to go find some album. We have to go find some album, and then we can. Yeah, like we're going right now, and Nadia's like, no, we're not. Like, Aubrey's exhausted. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
Titan's exhausted, and Aubrey's like, no, I had a bit of a rest. Like, I could probably pull for a little bit if you need me to, your highness. And she like looks. She asks Titan if he's okay, and he's like, "Yeah, I could pull for a bit more now that I've eaten." And she's like, "Yeah, Titan's okay." And the prince is like, "See, it's fine. Let's go." And Nadia's like, "No, I think Aubrey should sit in the sleigh and rest." You know.
I think Liam also spoke up about it. He's like,
Oh yeah, Liam.
he's like, no.
Yeah,
not
Liam
fair."
was also like, "Yeah, Aubrey's had no break whatsoever."
Yeah.
Yeah. And Nadia's like, yeah, you can pull this sleigh, you know, if you're so excited to do it. And Nab wants to say something, but he also knows that this fairy saved his life, and there might be some debt owed there. Because she did not have to give up the manor so quick. She could have waited and done other wagers. So he's like, fine, I'll pull the sleigh.
Well,
So they get roped up to do the sleigh, and Nadia puts her arm around Aubrey and leads her over. And she's like, you know, let's get you all settled in the sleigh. And as they approach the sleigh, Aubrey's nose goes and she's like, what is it? What's going on? Like, Nadia like hides her, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
protect her.
yeah, protect her. Like, okay, you're doing horse things. You're doing donkey things. Like, what's going on here? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I just can smell all of the treats in the prince's bags in the sleigh. You know, because the prince is always teasing her with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always
He's
like,
a jerk.
yeah, he's always like, oh, you should go give a treat to Titan. She's, okay. Or he'll hold a treat and like hold an apple. And watch her look at it, all hungry like. Yeah. Anyways, she's like, yeah, there's like treats in there. And she's like, oh, like, you can have one. I'm sure it won't be missed. And she's like, well, I don't want a treat if like Titan's not gonna have a treat. And she's like, okay, we'll give everyone treats. Can the humans have them? And Aubrey's like, yeah, like the humans can have like carrots and apples. And there's like these little brown squares that are just for the horses. And I've never gotten to eat one of those. And they smell so good. And she's like, you can try one.
She's like the fun aunt.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cool.
Yeah, so she leaves a little treat on the sleigh seat and then goes and gives apples and carrots to everyone else.
I like to think that Nab really enjoyed eating the apples and carrots because he's
because he is a goat, right?
he's a goat imp.
Yeah.
So he likes goat stuff. Which is why he loves Eleanor when she was looking all horse-like.
Yeah,
Because he
yeah.
was like, wow, love a horse girl.
Yeah. Definitely. That's what I was thinking too. So she eats the treat and she's like, oh my god, it's so amazing. And Nadia's like, did you like it? And she's like, it's delicious. And as she says that, she does like a big hee-haw of excitement and stifles that one again. And like Liam looks back like, what was that? And she's like, oh god. Oh no. And Nadia's like, oh, I thought like you figured that one out. Like, Like, I thought, does the whispering not help? And she's like, well, when I'm really excited, it seems like to happen, and like the whispering doesn't help. It's like trying to stop a sneeze. And she's like, oh, maybe you should pretend you're like sick, and that you're wheezing, and coughing. And she's like, I guess that work. And I would like explain why I'm whispering, and they're like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Be fine.
Madoka, I let you out.
Mado, why are you so needy today?
It's been an hour.
Stop having needs.
It's been an hour since Dad let me out.
Yeah. Do you want me to let her out?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
talk more.
All right. BRB.
Right. So yeah, they're chatting in the sleigh, and that's kind of where we're at, is that they're chatting. And they're talking about like what donkeys are like, and how they're helpful at protecting the herd, and that they can pull things, and that they're just lovely in general. And they're talking about like Nadia's plan to get horses, and that maybe she'll get a donkey too. Like, that sounds like a good idea. And like she talks about like how donkeys are really smart, and how, you know, like they would like be able to figure out how to open latches to get into fields. And she tries not to laugh about things because she's finding the conversation very funny, and Nadia laughs for her, so she doesn't embarrass herself by being all hee-haw-y. Right. And yeah, Nadia's like, oh, it'll be like so lovely because it gets kind of lonely at her manor. She doesn't really have anyone to talk to. Like, her servants are nice, but you know, it's not so great. And yeah, Aubrey is like, yeah, horses are great to talk to. I love talking to horses. Maybe like you can learn how to like talk to horses too, and you'll never be lonely again because you'll have like your donkey and your horses, and you guys can all talk and be friends. And she's like, yeah, like I need to get better at talking to animals. Like, once I became a fairy, like it became a bit easier, but I'm sure with practice it'll get better. And she's like, became a fairy? And she's like, yeah, I died one day a few years ago, and then I woke up as a fairy. And she's like, Aubrey's like, oh, that sounds really scary. I'm sorry. She's like, it was pretty scary, but I've gotten used to it, you know. And they talk about how humans are annoying and human society is so hard to figure out. And yeah, in general, like, Nadia has some plans. She's like, she likes Aubrey. Aubrey's sweet and loyal and a good donkey. And she's like, once she becomes a donkey, I'll just convince her to be my donkey.
Yeah.
And then I can keep her in Titan. That's
It'll
the
be
plan.
Perfect.
You know, I'm just going to talk up our great life together, and this is all going to work out for me. And I'm just going to be really nice to her.
Yeah.
And I'll be a way better owner than the prince.
Yeah.
He's a jerk. Which, I mean, to be fair, yeah.
He is. He's definitely a jerk.
He is a jerk, but that doesn't mean Aubrey should be your donkey, okay?
No.
Fairies have ideas, you know?
They're not... You know what? They have different ideas than us humans.
It's true. So that's that one. That's that plot. I hope you enjoyed that one.
Pretty art, thank you.
They're lovely. I love those too. Oh, you have pictures of Aubrey.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
One sec.
Yeah, you could show off Aubrey. They'd be in our little Discord thing, too.
Yeah, I should have them here on
Oh,
Procreate.
okay, good. Can show off Aubrey for you guys. The Aubrey designs. Because it'll take a while for us to actually put out videos on RPs. And I know some of you just like to have the pictures.
So here's Aubrey. She's our little stable maid.
Yeah.
She's cute.
Ursula gave her a ponytail. Haha. And beside her, that's Nab.
That's Nab, pretending to be Alexi.
Yeah, his little goat.
Yeah. Secret goat.
I love characters where people turn into things. Same.
They're so fun.
That's literally every single plot in this story.
Oh, she hasn't really come up, but here is the Fairy Queen.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about her because we have had a lot of things happen.
You're right.
Because we... Yeah. I love Aubrey. She's so sweet.
Yeah.
She's so darling. She's my heart and soul. I also want to be a horse. No, I don't. I want to be a deer, guys. Come on.
Yes, come on.
I'd be disappointed if a fairy turned me into a horse. I want to run in front of a car.
There's Eleanor.
Oh,
Before
yeah.
she became a corpse or a horse.
Mhm.
I tried to draw her as her cursed form, but I don't understand it, so
Yeah.
I've hidden it. It looks really silly.
I mean, it's gonna look silly even once you figure out the design.
True, because she's supposed to look.
She's supposed to
weird.
not look good.
Yeah,
Like, that's the whole point.
yeah.
We're supposed to love her despite that, Ursula.
Listen. It's hard. It's hard to like. I feel like I've trained myself to draw like pretty and cute things that it's hard to make something like look
Ugly but cute?
intentionally ugly
Yeah.
but cute. It's hard. It's hard.
Good horse art.
Oh,
Eleanor
thanks.
is a lovely name. Yeah. She's lovely.
She do be.
She's a sweetums. Alright. Speaking of turned into animals, let's talk about any other plot because that's all they are. No, another one that we've been doing tons with is the whole Gardenia saga.
Yes.
Oh yes, I've definitely talked about the latest one because I remember talking about the mushrooms and everyone losing their mind.
Right. Everyone was like,
And I
How
definitely
dare you.
talked about the girl who got turned into a skunk too.
okay.
Yeah. So the basic plot of Gardenia is that she is a princess who got turned into a minotaur to guard a fairy garden, and then she got stolen by that fairy's antagonist, and is now in a hedge maze. She's now living in a hedge maze, and that hedge maze is in a castle. Near the castle that Alexei lives in, and she's being cared for or whatever by Prince James because the mushroom fairy, nemesis to the flower fairy, made a deal with James, tricked him into a deal wherein he must make make Gardenia the perfect princess, the perfect lady, the best, the belle of the ball by the end of the year. And otherwise, she gets to take anything she wants from him, she being the mushroom fairy. And also, James broke a mushroom ring to run away from the mushroom fairy, and that has caused a curse upon him. He thinks that if he does the Eleanor stuff, curse will be undone. Perfectly fine. He's stupid. Like, he's dumb. Like, no, that's not happening. Okay. There's some other characters involved. There's the guard named Edmund, and there is the gardener, Una. And then there are a pair of imps, Socrates, and Pebbles. Okay? Got those four down? Right.
We all love
Socrates
Pebbles.
is a rat. Pebbles is a skunk. We don't really have to focus on Pebbles right now, so just set her aside. Just know that Pebbles and Socrates were planning to steal the faces of Edmund and Una Socrates steals Edmund's face, so Socrates is now the guard. But Yuna's face did not get stolen. Pebbles made a mistake, and that's a whole other plot line. Okay. Right.
I love Pebbles. She's my baby.
So there's this chain that's on Gardenia, and it's attached to like a little ring on her nose, and it's a magical chain, and whenever it's held, she's completely beastly, and like all her humanity goes away. But while you're holding it, she can't attack you. Like, you have complete control over her, right? So Socrates keeps holding on to that chain and keeps like instigating Gardenia to be more beastly, and he'll let go of the chain, but she's so mad that she has trouble turning back to like her human self. So they're trying to tame her, and it's not going well for the prince at all. Like, they try to sit her down for a nice tea, and she throws the table and she breaks all the cups, and the prince gives up and leaves. The prince, there's not too much for his plot right now, so I might as well get into it. He's just been turning into some sort of thing, you know. He had the slime on him, and he's grown an extra digit on his foot that comes out of the arch of it. It doesn't have like a claw or a nail or anything. It's weird. His other toes have they've started to like claws have pushed out from under his nails. There's been mushrooms starting to grow on it. His pinky toe, no, his big toe has rotted away.
This poor friggin' guy. Like, he's not the best person, but
yeah, it doesn't
this is
deserve
horrific.
this.
Yeah.
Yes, his toe rotted away. You know, honestly, I'm sure that Charlie would appreciate if that happened, because it was painful, but it's over with. Never have to deal with a big toe again.
Solve all your problems, Charlie.
Exactly.
What if you're holding the chain, but you want her to attack you? I don't think she can. What?
I don't think she can.
Yeah,
Like,
she can't physically harm you, but you could get her mad enough that if you let go, she'd attack.
Yeah, exactly. They'll do that.
Our toe fungus. Oh no.
So fun. Yeah, and flies have been like zooming around him, and at first it smells rotted, and then as mushrooms grow in it smells like the forest floor, which is a little better. Speaking of rotting, his pinky fingers have started to rot off, right?
Yep.
Yeah, his little pinkies are rotting away.
How will he
While-
lift his pinky while he sips his tea?
While his other fingers, aside from his thumb, have been growing nails, like they're growing claws under the nails, and they've pushed up. And the big difference now was that his foot was getting itchy on the top, and he scratches it, and he looks, and just beneath like his old skin, because skin's, you know, rotting away and sloughing off, you know, underneath it there's like there's some dark gray fur that started to grow in. Yeah, so that's all the body horror that the prince has gone through. Oh right, he bandaged up his foot in the night. He was good about it. Real good. He doesn't want like to get any more trouble, you know, because touching the spores and stuff was how his nails started to do that. Yeah, because originally he just had the goo on his foot and then it spread.
Yep.
Rotting in mushrooms, what it is, enter. Oh, hi, Eleanor.
Hey.
You missed us talking about a character named Eleanor.
Yeah.
Right. So he, in the middle of the night, he kicks off like his bandage wrap, and he is scratched at his with his little toes. He's scratched his other leg because he just has regular itches too, right? You know.
Yes.
and his toes have been growing longer. Anyways, he scratches his other leg, and in the morning he wakes up and it's starting to bubble up with the blisters that were originally on his foot, and he's like, oh god.
Oh no.
Yeah, so there we
Oh,
go.
Grace.
Back to the Cutums, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kingdoms.
So in the meantime, Yuna has been being really sweet to Gardenia.
Oh right, they started getting along because, well, Gardenia at first she's all mad, obviously, because she doesn't want to be locked up and they're
Yeah.
treating her terribly. But initially Yuna goes in there to garden, and Gardenia's, because she was turned into a minotaur to guard flowers, she gets all uppity if you like mess with the flowers.
Yeah.
So but
Also, everyone's been mean to her.
that
so.
too. So she's upset, obviously. But as Yuna starts gardening and makes the flowers all nice, Gardenia starts to like her more.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's just nice to her. So she like spends time with her, and she like eats up the little like leaf trimmings. And I guess on like the first day, like they talk together, and Gardenia is like, oh yeah, it's a couple days in, and she's like, oh yeah, I've been drinking out of like puddles and things, because she's like, she starts like asking like for some things. She's like, oh, so hungry, all there is to eat is leaves. And she's like, oh, I could get you like food from the palace, like do you want like, and she's like talking about like, you know, human foods and stuff, and she's like, yeah, vegetables would be good, but like maybe something like grass. Right? And she's like, oh, do you want like cow food? And she's like, oh, I guess so, yeah. So they Yuna starts getting her things, like she gets her a basin of water so that she can drink. She gets her hay to eat, and grains and stuff. And she just is very nice to Gardenia, because Gardenia deserve.
Yeah.
She deserves good things, because she's a princess,
She's
guys.
a princess.
She's literally a princess. Why are you treating her so meanly?
Gosh.
And they chat, and they start becoming friends, and like Gardenia talks about like her life and how she hates her sister because she's just so perfect. And Gardenia kind of like hates nobility and stuff, and she doesn't like it, and she doesn't like being forced to like act all like noble and stuff, because like her mom is like through magic became noble basically, and Gardenia was never going to be a princess, and she was treated badly by the upper class.
Yes.
And she still doesn't like them even now. And meanwhile, Yuna's like, I've always wanted to learn how to read. That sounds so cool.
Oh,
Pog.
sounds pogger.
She's like, can you read? And she's like, yeah, it's stupid though. I don't want to read.
Ugh, books.
Ugh, books. Yeah.
Dinky books.
And she talks about like all the things she had to learn to be a princess and how annoying it is.
Yo, Sammy.
Yo, it is Sammy.
I was thinking about how like all of our regulars on the Patreon hangouts, whenever you guys say anything in chat, I imagine it in your voice. Because I know what you sound like.
That's funny. Me
Me
in
and-
English. I don't want to read.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's hard to read when you're forced to, okay?
Yeah, no one wants to read when they don't want to read.
I work out at the
Wow.
library. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they yeah, they become friends, and like Eleanor, frick. Hi Eleanor, but not you. Gardenia and her become close, and Yuna is trying to convince Socrates to be nice to her, and that it would be a good idea, and that things would work better if they listened to her about things.
Because she's nice. She just doesn't want to be.
And because Socrates is a rat, and an imp, and is working for the Mushroom Fairy and doesn't want the prince to win. Like, he doesn't want Gardenia to calm down in any way. So he's like, fine, I'll listen to you. And he does a horrible job, and just, like, Yuna's sus. She's like, why is he like, why isn't he listening to these things? Ugh, men, right? But it is kind of weird, She's like, why is he like this? Like, he was mean before, but he was never this mean.
Yeah, because she kind of knew Edmund, who was like a dungeon guard. She's like, he was kind of a jerk, but like, he was reasonable.
Yeah, he was just a tough guy, right?
Yeah.
So after watching him, like, manhandle Gardenia and upset her for, like, no reason and just ruin the prince's time, nice new rug. I feel like you've said that before.
Yeah, I think you've been here while we've had this rug.
Yeah, and I think you said nice rug.
I've missed so many of these streams. Hi, nobody. Welcome back.
Welcome.
The Socrates.
The Socrates,
yes. No, he's a rat named Socrates.
Yeah, Socrates is like... she convinces the prince to be, like, a little better, I think, for, like, a few moments. But, like, Socrates is able to, like, make Gardenia mad again. And then the prince leaves in a huff.
Yes.
Yeah, he leaves in a... No, he doesn't leave. No, they stay there. And Socrates talks to Yuna and is like, you're being such a pest.
Oh, right.
Like, this is not your business. Like, leave us alone, okay? And then he pats her on the shoulder, and the prince is like, yes, go garden, like, make this place fit for a princess. Come on, like.
You're not treating her like a princess.
Yeah, like,
anyways.
maybe if she lives in a place that's nicer, she'll act nicer. And and Yuna's just like, or, like, you could act nicer to her.
But you can't really talk back to the prince.
Yeah, you can't.
So
she goes, and, like, she feels like she can just, like, feel, like, Socrates is like, when you pat someone, you can just feel it, and it just feels like it's there.
The
And
worst.
it just
Yes.
lingers, and she feels like, ugh. And Socrates has pointed out, like, all these, like, caterpillars and stuff that are eating the plants, and he's like, he needs to do something about those.
All right. Yuna does not like bugs.
Yeah, Yuna doesn't like bugs,
They're icky.
and she can just, like, feel them crawling on her, and she's like, ugh. And then she feels, like, a pain between her boobie.
As one does.
And she looks, and there's this big tick in the middle of her chest.
Just this Tales of Arise notes in her feet. Oh, I wish. It would be a fun video game.
And she screams, and she pulls it off herself and throws it away.
Yeet.
And, like, Socrates goes over and is like, is everything okay? And she's like, no, there's, like, a bug on me. Terrified. I would also be,
You know what?
Yeah.
If I found a tick on me, I would cry.
Not pain in the booba. No, it isn't in the booba. It's betwixt the booba. Yeah. And she looks down, and she can see that, like, she's just pulled off the top, the abdomen of it, and she sees it burrow into her, like the rest of it, and vanish. And
a
she-
nightmare.
Yeah, nightmare fuel. She is scream, she is cry. And Socrates is like, I'm sure you're just imagining stuff because you got a bug on you and it's, you're skeeved out. Like, it did not crawl into you. You're fine, okay? And she's just like, no, I'm not fine. He's like, if it gets, like, you can go to go talk to a doctor about it after. Like, it's fine. It's just a bug bite, okay? You're fine. Pat, pat, pat. And she goes back to her work. I joins back and just here betwixt the booba.
Welcome back.
This is like
the
a yikes. So she goes about her work and she sees all the bugs and she's like, ugh, so many bugs. I hate bugs. And then,
She's like Misty.
yeah, she's like Misty. She's like, I hate bugs. And she looks at the bugs and she's like, man, what if I ate a bug?
Get rid of them.
And then she's like, that'd be disgusting. Like, what? No, I would not eat a bug. And she continues about her work, trimming hedges, and she keeps seeing the caterpillars, and she's like, but what if? What if I did that? And like, yeah, it would get rid of them. So she picks up a bug and she puts it in her mouth.
Yuna, put it down. Bad.
And she eats the bug.
What?
And she's like, oh God, what has happened to me?
What have I done?
And so she keeps trimming the bushes and she keeps like looking around and then eating bugs. So she's eating a bunch of caterpillars and then Socrates walks up and is like, hey, what are you doing? And she's like, nothing. Trimming the hedges. And he's like, oh, there's still a lot of bugs around here. You gonna do something about that? Like, she's like, yeah, of course, yeah. He's like, okay, just acting a bit weird, that's all. And she's like, no, I'm fine, it's good. It's like, all right. So, girl turning into Bear Grylls.
Oh my god, consume. Ursula, you're going straight into line art without a sketch?
There's a sketch. It's
There's
just
a
really
sketch.
light
Here, I'll turn it up.
for you guys.
Yeah, there's a sketch. I turn it really light so I really can focus on the line art, but there's definitely a sketch.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a sketch under its blue. Yeah, Sammy.
Yeah.
Makes me anxious. I'm sorry I did that to you. I wanted to say congrats, Addie, for posting your webcomic, and anyone else who is working on or posting their webcomic. I'm really proud of you. You're doing a really good job.
Okay. I have to finish this because we've got 15 minutes left.
Oh, dang.
I've only
Speedrun.
told two stories.
Oh, no, speedrun.
Right, so she's eating bugs and she's like, I'm gonna go get pesticides.
Yes.
Oh, I think she talks to Gardenia about it. She's like, Gardenia, I'm eating bugs. And Gardenia's like,
Okay.
she's like, oh, I eat those too sometimes. Like, if they're on a leaf and I don't notice. And she's like, no, like, I'm picking them up and eating them, like, on purpose. Like, I think something's wrong with me. I got bitten by a bug. Like, what's happening? And she's like, well, maybe you should just not eat bugs. Because, like, if it's, like, a curse or something, like, maybe you should just, like, not give into it. And she's like, does that stop curses? And she's like, I don't know. Mine came on, like, in like, a couple hours, so... She's like, okay, well, I won't eat bugs then. I'll go get pesticide. And she leaves. And she goes and she gets pesticide. And she brings it back. And she's like, oh man, if I poison the bugs, I can't eat them. And then she sees like beetles and worms and caterpillars and she sees snails. And she's like,
A snack.
rich people eat snails. She's like, I can just collect snails and it wouldn't even be weird. And she pulls out a bucket and she starts filling it with snails. And then these peeps need an AA meeting for eating bugs. And
Bugs Anonymous?
Bug Eater Anonymous. Yeah, so she She starts collecting snails, and then she grabs another bucket, and she's like, I could pick up the caterpillars and say I'm giving them to the chickens. And so she got different buckets of bugs, and she's so happy with what she's doing. She's so proud of herself. And Socrates comes by because the prince is done with Gardenia and all that, and he's like, oh man, like, what are you doing with all these buckets? And she's like, oh, I thought of a perfect idea. Instead of poisoning them, I can give them to the coop, and they can feed the birds with them. Perfect. And he's like, oh, that is a great idea. I'll go make sure they know you're coming. And she's like, what? He's like, yeah, I'll make sure like that they know that you're gonna bring some buckets of bugs, so like they're not surprised, you know. And if you work late, someone will still be there to grab them. And she's like, yeah, that would be perfect. Thanks, I love it. So after...
Oh, he's also like, he sees the snails and he's like, oh, those are really good snails. You should bring those to the kitchens for the royals. And she's like, fine.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, it's basically theft. Like, those are really good snails. So at the end of her workday, she goes and does that, and she gives Hector the little coop boy.
The coop boy.
Gives him the buckets.
The
and like
chicken man.
Yeah, she's like holding on to the buckets to give it to him, and she just won't let go, and eventually it's just like, no, it's fine, it's fine. I don't know what is going on, whatever. And she's so upset about all of her bugs being gone. And she goes back to her...
No, so earlier she talked to Gardenia.
Oh, okay.
And Gardenia was like, I need a place to sleep. It's really uncomfortable here.
Oh.
And so she's like, I'll get you some straw. Like, we'll get you proper stuff. But for now, I'll just get you some straw for tonight to lay down on. So she goes to the barns, or the stable, or whatever.
Yeah.
And she has to get, like, a bale of straw from up top. And
Yes.
she finds, like, a machine where they grind up the corn.
Yeah.
And she steals some, and she's like, I could eat this.
Yeah.
Which she normally wouldn't do.
No? You don't think? And she's like, I'll bring some to Gardenia, too.
Yeah. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, so she fills her bucket up with the corn.
Yes.
And then she heads back and gives some of it to Gardenia, and then pockets the others.
Yes.
And then she goes back, and she... This might be a condensed version of it.
Yeah.
Okay. But she goes back home, and they go have dinner. Her and the other servants, they all have it together, and she's just happy to be eating. She's like, wow, I don't even like bugs that much. Like, I like all food, you know? Like, she's eating her human food is perfectly fine. And then everyone's like clearing up and done, and she sees all these plates, and they still have food on them. And she thinks, well, that's a waste. So she starts collecting some of the leftovers, and she puts it all together. And she sneaks the leftovers into her bedroom.
Yes.
And in her room, she starts hiding the leftovers in different corners of the room. And her roommate comes in as she's putting leftovers in like her sock drawer. And and she's like, what are you doing? And she's like, nothing at all. I'm going to bed. And then in the middle of the night...
These plots are so fun. They're so ridiculous and so fun.
Oh, and she tells her about the bug that bit her, and she's like, oh, God. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, she tells her about the bug that bit her, and she goes to show her the bite, and nothing's there.
Oh, right.
And she's like, okay.
I'm crazy.
You're a little crazy. Okay. Like,
Okay, Yuna. Whatever
all
you
right,
say.
Yuna. Very good. And she starts to break out with acne on her upper lip. And it's awful.
Yes.
And she goes to bed. And she's laying in bed, and she's like, what if I slept under the bed? Like, she looks under, and it's like so dark and cozy. And so she goes under her bed, and she brings blankets down.
Okay, but as a kid,
Oh, yeah.
the best.
The best.
Making little blanket forts under your bed, so good. Anyways.
And her roommate her roommate wakes up and finds her under the bed in this little nest of blankets. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I must have fallen out of the bed." And she's like, "What about all the blankets?" She's like, "I must have pulled them down with me." And she's like, "Look at, like, they're so..." And like, what? Like, weave them together? And she's like, "It's nothing, it's fine." And she pulls out all of her blankets and puts them on the top of her bed. And her roommate's in, like, "And you hid a bunch of, like, food around the room. Like, are you okay?" And she's like, "I think I'm sick. Like, I think I'm sick." Right? And, like, her pimples are starting to hurt. And they're really sore and they don't really feel, she like pokes at them and they don't feel like pimples, like they're weird. And she's like, "I'm gonna go to the doctor, I'm gonna go see someone about my health."
Yeah.
So she goes and she waits and she pops one of her pimples while she's waiting, and like a hard, thick hair pokes out of it, and she's like, "What?"
Excusez-moi.
And it continues to grow from there, and the other ones start to do the same, and they're very sensitive hairs, and there's a bunch of them, and whiskers. It's whiskers.
It was whisker ports all along.
Yes, she has whiskers. And they're very long. They've grown like a foot or two each. And like, she leaves right away before like the doctor sees any of this and runs to find Gardenia
Yes.
about this.
Because lots of people are like coming down with curses kind of across the kingdoms, and you're basically shunned if you've been cursed by fairies.
Acne
They're like,
whiskers.
they're like, stay away.
Yeah. They fear what they do not understand.
Yes. Why help people when you can shun them? Is this a story of a woman turning into a raccoon or something?
Ursula doesn't know.
Cat girl?
Cat
Yeah.
girl. Yeah, a bug-eating cat girl. I mean,
cats
yeah,
eat bugs.
that's true. And grain. That's true. Bread.
Oh, you're right.
They live in nests. Right. Anyways, yeah, she runs to
Rat girl.
Gardenia. Yeah, she runs to Gardenia. And she's like, "Gardenia." Because her voice is suddenly very small.
What is this? This Franz Kafka stuff?
Yeah, she's like, "Gardenia." And she's like, oh yeah, like, yeah, her voice is breaking. Because she talked to Socrates too at first.
Yeah.
Like, did Socrates see the whiskers?
I don't think so. I don't remember actually.
Oh, I think he did.
He did?
Yeah, because he talks about how he doesn't see the whiskers, but he talks about her looking weird.
Oh yeah, he says like, "You look different."
No, he definitely knows because he sees her ears wiggle too.
Oh right.
Yeah,
Okay.
he sees the whiskers and stuff, and she's like, "Oh God, what am I gonna do? I've been cursed. Like, watch out for bugs. What if you get cursed too?
Yeah.
Okay, be careful."
And Socrates is like,
Yeah, so she runs and like she's talking to him, and she's like, "What if you get cursed too?" And he's like, "What did you say?" And she's like, "What if you got cursed too?" And she's like having trouble, like her voice keeps breaking and becoming very small.
Itty bitty.
And yeah, so she basically has to shout to talk normally to Gardenia, and Gardenia, yeah, still can't hear her sometimes, and like leans her little ear in to listen to her. She's like, "Just whisper here. If it's really hard, I don't want to hurt your voice." So they talk, and she's like, "Maybe you could like trim them down. Like they just look like blisters." She's like, yeah, I'll do that. Because like pulling on them hurts
Yeah,
like hell.
because
she-
they are whiskers.
So yeah, she trims those down. And I think that's where we left off with her.
I think so.
There's just like some character stuff that happened otherwise between them.
Yeah, just character building.
Because, yeah, those two are like becoming BFFs. Like,
Gal pals.
yeah, the gal pals.
We love us some gal pals.
I want a fairy curse that makes my teeth grow abnormally. That's fair.
Good for you.
My favorite kind of curses. Yeah. What do they talk about? Oh, they talk about like
Oh, right.
they're like worried that like she's like Gardenia's like, I guess I gotta start being better to the prince, and she's like, what? Why? And she's like, well, maybe like this fairy cursed you too, like, and like they're doing it like because you got cursed. Maybe it's because you're being nice to me, and yeah, we'll do that. She's like, you do that for me, and she's like, yeah, I like you.
Boo-boo.
Yeah, because they do little snuggles, and that's the thing we've missed out on is like
Oh, right.
that Gardenia likes to rest her little head on Yuna's shoulder and get scritches, and get nose scritches and things, and behind the ear scritches, because Gardenia forgets that she can use her hand to scritch, because she'll rub her face on things.
Yes. They're so cute.
Yeah.
Man, I want to hang out with cows. I want to go see a cow and give them a little scratch.
Squitch, squitch, squitch. Do you have the Gardenia pictures? Yeah, those are in Discord.
Those are in Discord.
'Cause
so
they're-
Let me see.
Because you gotta share them, right? Because there's some Yunas and Gardenias. There's no cursed Yunas yet, but there's
No.
Gardenias.
I just saw the Eleanor picture that I totally failed. Oh, it's silly. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay. Just let me get these open.
She's opening them. Your poor bones. I'm sorry. There's been a lot of bones talk.
Yeah, you have been talking a lot.
Yes.
Oh no, I'm sorry about your bones. Not fun.
I love the subject line of this video, so I clicked it. I hope you continue to make videos like of this.
Aw. I'm glad you're enjoying. Thank you for watching.
Scoliosis is your fairy curse. It's amazing. It's wonderful.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, so there's Gardenia as a human. When she's all adorable.
Mhm.
And then here's her as a little cow when she's also adorable. I can't remember what kind of cow she's supposed to be.
You always forget.
But it's a very fluffy
I
kind.
think it's Galloway.
Yeah,
something
something like
Gallo.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, correct.
She fluffy.
She fluffy.
Imagine the ring's a bit bigger than that.
Probably. This is just a sketch.
Yeah.
I love her. She fluffy minotaur.
Do you have the one picture of them snizzle? That one's cute.
Maybe.
It's the top one. It's the one that has Aubrey on it too.
Oh, I missed that one. Okay. Hold on, I'll just go through these. So there's Yuna.
You can just go through all of them, right?
I could. There's Yuna. She's the cute little lady. And there's James. That's the prince. I'm still kind of trying to figure him out, but yeah, that's basically what he looks like.
Prince Bum.
Prince Butthead.
She
Prince Stinky.
Stinky Prince Sue.
Here we go. There. So yeah, so there's Yuna and Gardenia. Oh, there's a picture of Aubrey with donkey ears.
And
teeth.
human ears.
And human ears. I did the double ears. It's cursed.
Oh yeah, Aubrey's teeth have gotten a bit bigger.
Yes. Up here is Pebbles.
Yeah, that's Pebbles pretending to be Lady Alana.
Yes. And then here is Alana's
Gal pal.
gal pal, Lady in Waiting. Is that
Lady
it?
in waiting, yeah.
Yeah. Named Iona.
Yeah.
Iona.
Iona's gonna be. We'll talk about them in another stream.
Yeah, I know. We're like out of time.
Oh, I don't think we've showed the Albin pics.
No, I don't think so.
And you probably should show the Rosalie one too, right?
Oh, true.
Just a little spoiler for the people. You know?
Of what's to come.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, I think. Oh, there. Okay. So yeah, so this is. Hold on. This is a bit high up. There.
Don't get bit by a bug. Yeah.
Yeah, no bug bites. Wear your bug spray. So yeah, so this is Princess Rosalie. I think we've talked about her.
Yeah, we
in
definitely
other
talked about
streams.
her, and not much else has happened with her, so we're
Yeah.
gonna have to wait a while.
Yeah, but she's turning into this.
Yeah, this.
This thing.
I feel so bad for Rosalie.
I know, she deserves so much better.
She really do.
She's baby. So this is Albin turning into a cat boy. He's my favorite.
Oh my god.
He's a mage. He's a tragic backstory. He
Oh my god, we're gonna get to talk so much about Albin next time. Oh my god, it's gonna be 2 weeks from now. There's gonna be so much more because we have to
Oh.
do the streams first.
my god, you guys, it's gonna be the best.
Yeah, there's been a whole bunch of Albin updates.
You did comic work? Good. I learned that liking horses is rad. Good. Blonde girls in pink? Yes. Mr. Meow Mage! What is it with y'all and twink cat boys? Listen, Twinkie cat boys and elves, that's my jam.
Hey man, we have a Twinkie goat boy too.
Oh, and there's them hanging out. That's so Prince Alexi, the real Prince Alexi, he gets turned into a goat.
Yeah,
So he's hanging out with Albin.
album.
Album.
All right, so now we're gonna leave you guys and get back to RPing so that we
Yeah.
can tell you more
Exactly.
next time.
Well, thank you all for joining us.
I talked for 2 hours.
I'm proud of you. If you enjoyed listening to us talk about RPs, make sure to subscribe so you'll be notified at the next stream when we talk more about more RPs. Oh, next stream is critique. If you are interested in having your work critiqued, you can sign up for our Patreon. There should be a link down below. It'll have all the information there. And there's a lot more perks to becoming a patron than just getting your work critiqued. So yeah, consider joining. You can be friends with us in live chat and stuff. Anyways, goodbye, friends. I think you're all neat, and I'm proud of you for working, and we'll see you guys next time. Mwah! Goodbye.